I want y'all to welcome to the show my other half, Robert Banks. Say hi.
Hi. How we doing?
He's like, oh, we're not going to be able to see that? Oh, okay. So this should be fun. This should be a lot of fun. I wanted to do this because y'all know on Wednesdays we do our Let's Talk About It. We have guests, and I want to remind you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, same time, my friend Kim McHugh is coming. She was actually featured in the Chronicle yesterday. She's from True Leaf Tea Company, McHugh Tea Room and Gifts in Bel Air. And I was saying, y'all, we have to start an annual tea party. We got to pick a date and we got to do that. So let's get started. We got a laughy face. Are y'all laughing at me or with me? What is going on? At or with? Hey, Alice Richardson. Hey, Aura Thompson. We're just getting started and we are going to start. And I am going to tell you happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you as well.
I love you.
I love you as well.
32
I love you first.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so that we're going to get started. Okay, so tell us anything you want to start off with. Anything special you want to start off with?
Well, hey, every day is a great day above ground. Blessed and highly favored, and thank God for each and every day.
Yeah, and with me.
Absolutely with you.
So, Robert Banks, where are you from?
I am from Hampton, Virginia.
How'd you get here? Why are you here?
Employment.
Yes. Tell me about what you did in the past.
Well, after college, I was drafted by the Houston Oilers, and that brought me to Houston. And I've been in Houston since 1987. Primarily, I met my wife here, and we decided to raise a family here in the Houston area, and it's been wonderful. But that's what got me to Houston.
Yeah. So how'd you meet your wife?
I met my wife through a mutual friend. When I got to Houston, I had a former teammate that was already with the Oilers, so I stayed with him on my arrival to the area. And I met you through my friend who was dating one of your girlfriends.
Yes, y'all. That is how I met the man y'all, I have been married 32 years. So I've been married longer than I've been single, like before. So I wasn't looking for him, y'all. I just went to drop off some juice and fruit with my friend for her sick boyfriend. And there he was. God had put him right there for me. I didn't think it was for me, but what'd you think when you first met me?
When I first met you, I thought you were one of the most beautiful women I had ever seen. Absolutely. Yep, you had red Reebok shoes on with jean miniskirt and sucking on a lollipop. Right? Was a blow pop or something? The one that got gum in the middle? What's that one called?
A blow pop.
Yeah, a blow pop. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay. Needless to say, I was not looking. I didn't think I was going to meet anybody at Red Reebok sucking on a lollipop. Oh my gosh, I sound like I was absolutely 10. Okay, so what was funny is when I first met him, he said he already knew. He thought I was the one right off the bat. And he lost my phone number, y'all. He lost my phone number. And I saw him again out and about. And any kind of way, we were just friends for like 3 years before we ever started to date. And once he left and went to the Cleveland Browns, that's when we actually started to date. I was in college at the time. I think we met in 87.
Yes.
And I think, I was in college at the time. So as you think about marriage, all these years, everything we've been through, what are some things that you feel are important in having a long relationship, marriage, successful family life, whatever?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing is that, two people become friends first, right? And really get to know each other. And also the communication is huge in having a successful marriage. as well as trust. I think those things are very important. And of course, yes, dear works as well, right? When you learn to say yes, dear, that, yeah, it works. Yes, dear. Yeah. But yeah, the communication has to be there, even at times when you have to agree to disagree. But yeah, it's huge. And also, as far as trust, and that goes a long ways to trust that that person that you're with is in your corner. Trust that that person that you're with is going to, be with you through the good times and bad times. So those things are huge in a successful marriage, and also, to have a long marriage. I mean, from time to time, you have to go through what I call tune-ups. See a marriage counselor. We have our vehicles checked out every so often and tuned up. We have our systems in our homes checked out and tuned up. So seeing a marriage counselor, every so often can keep you on track and refocused and recommitted.
Nice. Okay, so y'all, um, I came from a long line of strong women, and there were not a lot of men around. And so I didn't really trust men any kind of way. And the man I trust the least was the man that said, trust me, right? I remember Robert and I were having fun. We were out in New Orleans partying, having a great old time. And for some reason, and this is when I knew this was going to be my husband, he said, you have to learn, you're going to have to learn to trust me. I don't know what we were talking about, but I thought, this is it, because I have been praying all my life for a man, more so a great father for my children than a husband for me. And God delivered hands down. And I wrote a scripture where I hold this one to my heart. It says, I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. So I get to see a real healthy relationship between a father and his children through my husband and my children, because I did not have that growing up. So God truly delivers, and he's faithful even when we're not. So thank you for being that for me.
You're welcome.
And I love this. God will turn beauty for ashes. Your ashes can turn to beauty. And I believe that's what's happened for me and my family for sure. And one thing I have to say about being successful in marriage or any kind of relationship is that you need to be happy and whole on your own. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when you're depending on someone else to make you happy, that's one is it's too much pressure on that other person because they're working each day to make sure that they're happy. So I would agree with you 100% that happiness has to come from within. And when you have two people that have discovered that or realize it, and then it just makes their union that much more special and powerful.
Yeah. One of the things Robert used to tell me all the time when we date, you laugh a lot. And people tell me all the time, you're so positive, like it's nothing going wrong ever. But that's not the case, of course. But I just choose to see the glass half full. And because we get, what you focus on grows, and I want good things to grow. So I tend to be upbeat mostly, for sure. Okay, and how it started. I want to say my husband is a morning person. For God's sake, help us all. Oh my goodness. So Cheryl BC, before Christ, would go off on him. He would wake up in the morning and just rip open the curtains. Morning, Glory, what's your story? Get up, you're burning daylight. You burn in daylight. There's things to do. Oh my gosh, and he did it on purpose. We're both Sagittarians, so we have a lot in common, but he did it on purpose. My mom used to think he hung the moon. He never did anything wrong until she stayed around a while, and she know he can be something else. So in those things, in growing and wisdom, I have learned to keep some of my words inside. I learned through Bible study, and I have to say, and Robert knows it, were it not for Bible study, we'd have been divorced 20 times, 20 times. Because,
You think so?
yes, yes, because my when you are focused on how you're supposed to be instead of how you are or how you want to be, how you're supposed to be as far as in your relationship with God. And if you study the Bible, you see how God, I'm supposed to be his helper. We're a team. And one thing about having a successful marriage, I believe that you need to know that because I don't know why we say you give 50%, you give 50. Everybody needs to give 100%, right? Everybody needs to do their best, and we need to put the other person first because keeping score, I did this and you did that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So when I'm pleasing God, and I learned through Bible study, and how many of you ladies who are married have learned this? You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to attend every fight you're invited to. So what do y'all think about that? Do y'all know that? Tell me in the comments section. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. You have to sometimes step back, right, and give whatever the situation is, some thought, right, as well as prayer, and hopefully wisdom will take over at that time. And and in marriage, sometimes you just got to circle back, right? Sometimes the timing is not the right time. Sometimes you have to allow, if you are upset, yourself to calm down,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of times it's just best to step away from it, circle back, and approach it with wisdom and again always keeping the other person in mind and trying to see their perspective or point of view.
Right. And I have to say, it's hard to fight when the person you want to fight won't fight. And Robert's not going to fight with me. And that's one that's one of the things back in the day. I would get so angry and I want to have a shouting match and I'll be using choice words, Cheryl BC. I'll be using choice words and he just would not even participate. And so in a sense, I have been trained, like he said, to circle back, to work through my emotions and my feelings and to come back not so emotional because men don't get that. When we're emotional and all over the place, they just shut down. They don't get that. Yeah.
And I think a part of that, growing up, there was some domestic violence in my household, from time to time, and I can recall, as a young kid, realizing how that affected me, right? And I always promised myself that I would break that cycle and not have a household where there's that type of behavior from time to time. In some of the cases, it was alcohol that was involved when those actions took place, right? But I made a promise to myself that my family, my kids would not grow up in that type of environment.
It's so true. And y'all, Bailey was in middle school and she said, Mom, have you and Dad ever had a fight? Because we just made it a point not to do that in front of them. Because, yeah, I've experienced all of that too. And that is stressful.
But they've experienced us having disagreements.
Well, not after then, but before then, we never would. We always had a united front. And those of you who have kids, they know how to work you, right? And my kids ask me to do something before they ask him, because it's me. I'm like, yeah, I used to be out. Sure, no problem. He's the one that's going to say, well, did you clean your room? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do that? Before he says yes or no. And I'm like, yeah, but I did learn to say, yes, it's fine with me, but your dad, you have to ask your dad. So that's how we negotiated that. Because with the kids, you have to have a united front. You can't be a good parent, bad parent, and having them, do the favorite things.
But I also think when you're raising kids too, both parties can get so involved in what's going on with the kids, raising the kids, and sometimes you
Sure.
can neglect each other.
Mm,
So, making time for each other, especially during the child rearing years, is
that's true.
very important. That you don't lose, the romancing and the dating of your spouse.
It's true. That's true. That's so important. I know. Everything was about them. And it's hard when they're little and needy. They don't care how tired you are or anything, but you have to make it happen. And it's important to me, peace, PEACE at home. Because we're out in this world is rough and negative and crazy. So I never wanted to be the wife who was nagging the minute my husband walked into the door. And I don't want to be nagged when I walk in the door. So we have a peaceful house. It's like a time to talk about things, to hash things out. But I think that's so important that when you come home, you can breathe and you're with your people. It's y'all against the world. Even my son at school, whenever he would get in trouble, I would say, "Hey, I'm Team Miles. You need to tell us before anybody else tells us what's going on. I'm on your team. And whether you did wrong or not, don't let somebody else tell me first. You always tell me." Why are you laughing?
True. Yeah.
Why are you laughing? Of course, Bailey was the perfect child. She never wanted to get in trouble until, of course, she got into high school, and then she was a girl, So that happened. So, anything else you'd like to share with the people?
Um, yeah. When we talk about marriage, it is a commitment, and at the end of the day, both parties have to realize that it's a commitment. It takes work. It takes wisdom. It takes prayer. And I think two people, have to be on the same page and be committed. Now, when and of course, don't all marriages don't work,
Right.
right? There are some situations that two people do need to part,
Hmm.
right? But so and that's why I feel it's so important to take time to really know the person that you're marrying, making sure both people have the same fundamental beliefs and fundamental just outlook on life,
Hmm.
to make it work. But it is work and it is commitment, and we also have to be mindful of who we made that promise to.
Hmm.
Right? We made a promise to each other, but we also made a promise to God, right? So yeah, and but it's a beautiful, um, it's a beautiful thing to be in a committed relationship and marriage, and most times when you find that, God is present.
Right. For this long, for sure. Because just last night, I was really annoyed with Robert because he wanted to go to sleep. Not last night, night before last. He wanted to go to sleep and I wanted to watch the game. But I just went to the other room to watch the game. So you are going to have little issues, but we're a team. So because sometimes I'll hear couples and one person's like, well, you can leave, get out, or we get a divorce, and words, we say sticks and stones, words can't hurt, but when once you say something like that, you can't take it back. And so I have learned, because I wasn't always like this, to be mindful of my words and to just like he said, circle back, think about it, process. What's the rush? Because you don't want to hurt somebody you love. And what is that one commandment? Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, everything, and love your neighbor as yourself. We have to put each other first. We have to put ourselves in the other person's shoes. And we have to realize that everybody likes to be loved differently. Not everybody's touchy feely. They talk about the different love languages. Touchy feely is not his love language. Okay. Period. End of story. And it's growing up. And I think sometimes we want people to give us what they don't have. And so when you are at odds or having a hard time thinking about what somebody doesn't do why don't they do it? Put yourself in their shoes. Where'd they come from? Did they get that growing up? If they didn't get that growing up, how are they going to give it to you? So it's so important that you really think about yourself, think about them, put yourself in their shoes, and prayer, 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 prayer. Learn what the Bible, and I wrote this down. He just talked about it a little bit. Don't be unevenly yoked. Some people want to be with somebody just to be with somebody. I was talking to a girl today at last time I went to get blood work, and she was getting married. I was like, "Well, is he a good guy? If he's a good guy with a good heart, and he's nice and sweet to you, okay. But if he's not, or if she's not, no, because it's not going to get any better once you get married. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to get any better. So make sure." Do they want kids? Do they? I mean, I've seen people date people who told them up front, I don't want children. And then when they didn't want to have children after marriage, it was a huge deal because they thought they would change their minds. I've friends who dated people who dated somebody who didn't want to get married, and that's all they ever wanted to do. So I think we need to raise our standards as women. And when I say raise our standards, he doesn't have to be 6'5" and your type. He needs to have a heart for God. He needs to be somebody who's going to treat you right. And I'm going to tell you, this man right here, he takes care of his family. Okay. I prayed for him, but I didn't know God was going to deliver like that. And my mom, she's on here. She always says, I couldn't love Robert anymore if I had had him. She always says that. And she used to say, I might even like him more than you. Yeah. So yeah, she used to say that. I know she didn't mean it. I'd like to.
Yeah, I think I'll be the out man if something really went down.
Yeah,
I'll be the out man. Yeah.
You'd be the out man for sure. But I just want to say it's worth the wait. And when I say wait, I mean WEIGHT. Because it's going to get heavy. It's going to be good. It's going to be bad. Anything worth having is worth working for. It's never going to be all roses and peaches, or what is it saying? It's never going to be all of that. They talk about the 80-20% rule. You're going to get 80%. There's always going to be something you would like to change or be different for you and him too. Would like for me to be more or less or whatever, because y'all know. Anyway, who said perfect? Is that Bailey Banks talking about she's perfect? Hey, Andrea Allen, Patty Payne, Linda Lewis, Aura Thompson, Alice Richardson. Hey, y'all. Hey, Brianna. That's my son's girlfriend. Hey, girl. Hey, Bailey Banks, favorite parents ever. Thank you. Yes. Thank you all for joining. Hey, Jackie Johnson. I just want to thank all of you for coming, and I am going to send out a YouTube link of this so that you can share. Do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to leave the ladies with?
Absolutely. I think from time to time we all encounter people who are having difficulty in their relationships or in their marriage, and it can go a long ways when we give them godly advice. Right. And give them advice that can, help them make it through the tough times. So, as Christians, we always have to be mindful of the type of advice that we give to people. But again, when we have those opportunities, let's make sure that we are giving, advice, godly advice, if you will.
And on that note, or no advice. I have learned that I don't typically like to give advice other than in the Bible. And sometimes you know what you want to say, but is not necessarily of the Bible, but I've learned this, putting myself in the other person's shoes and says, I'm really sorry that you're going through this, and I'm glad you shared it with me, and I'll pray for you or whatever, but not even giving advice, because who am I to give advice? I don't know. So I just want to say that I'm really grateful for you. I love you so much. And I think I'm going to keep you.
I'm a keeper.
Yeah, I think you're a keeper. And I think let's do 32 years more. We'll be pretty old then. But I'm going to tell you, like my mom used to say, she used to say, I want to get so old that I look like a monkey. Well, not necessarily, but I just want to say we are really excited about what's going on with the beauty box. And we're going to be doing cool stuff. Some of it all, about the Bible. Some of it is just empowerment stuff and educational about women and relationships and the things that matter to us. So make sure you guys invite your friends, and make sure we're making up a newsletter. We're doing all sorts of cool stuff. Invite your friends, and be back here Wednesday at 7 for Kim McHugh of McHugh Tea Room and Gifts. She has a whole warehouse on Amazon. She's doing tea. She's got a lot going on, and she was featured in the Chronicle yesterday. So you can check that out. And then Alice Richardson is doing a lesson on grief and loss on the 17th. We have here Mother's Day makeovers on the 13th, and we're doing I Am Vision Casting on the 20th at noon. And you're to bring your poster board. You're also to read Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. We're going to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. The Esther study was amazing. We did 3 weeks, the book of Esther. Some of the ladies are on here. Y'all share anything that you would like to inspire someone to come on board. Check out our website at thebeautyboxforhim.com. And I can't wait to do more of these things with you. By the way, I'm going to make a link so you can share this with your friends. Okay? Thank you for coming. Love you. Go forth and multiply. I think this is going to be our symbol, y'all. This okay symbol, because this is 0 for the devil, and this is 3 for God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. It's all okay. Wherever you are, it's okay. Okay? Okay. What is that? All right, guys. Let me check the comments. Make sure I don't miss any important comments. Oh, my God. Look. We'll post this one. Y'all are awesome together. I agree with Bailey. Thanks, Robert, for joining us. Aw, thank you. What is this? When I was married many moons ago, I didn't know how to step away from a fight. It was imperative to get my point across. Yes, no. You got to leave room for God to work. You got to leave it. You got to leave it and come back to it. Yes, you don't have to attend every fight you're invited to. Late learner, I know, but at least you're learning. Favorite parents ever. That's Bailey. Favorite parents. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much. I know he said I was beautiful, didn't he? Oh, that's so sweet. All right, y'all. Thank you for coming. I love you so much. Y'all have a fantastic and beautiful day. We're going out to dinner now. Bye.